Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 15 of What If Naruto Took His Training Seriously. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out a new episode of What If Naruto Was Taken by Orochimaru that I posted over on Anime King 2. And later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Rebuild the Uzumaki clan, so stay in tune for that and enjoy. And also guys, later on this channel I'm going to be posting What If Tsunade Was Naruto's mother, so stay in tune for that and enjoy as well guys. And remember, if you're new and you enjoyed the videos on both channels, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join Anime King and Anime King 2 and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. So without further ado, let's get straight into this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails.
So, to do a bit of a recap, Naruto finishes training in sealing, as he's gotten pretty good at it, as he left the underground base where Kushina's father was, as they came back to the surface, as they immediately got a mission. It's been a while since Naruto saw anyone, as they all greeted him, as Sara was hesitant to talk to Naruto at first, seeing that from she told him that she would die if she used her fire. They haven't really spoke to each other, so they got a mission to capture the Three Tails, as Jiraiya, Kushina, and Naruto went over the sealing scroll. They then left out the next day, a large group of Konoha ninjas, as Sara and Naruto talk while on the mission, as he asked her why would she do that if she knows she would die, as she told him she would risk her life in a second if she knew she was going to protect him. And after a while of talking, they reunite. Twin beasts then came for Naruto and Keiyashi, as Naruto summoned two twin dragons, as they had an epic battle against the two beasts, but in the end Naruto won. They then went off as they were ambushed by the Akatsukis who wanted to take the Three Tails for themselves. As Itachi faced off against Sasuke told him that he was no longer focusing on hate, he has friends to back him up. As Itachi then summoned a clone, the clone knocked Sasuke away, but he caught him and took away Sasuke, as the real Itachi vanished as he went to talk to his brother about something. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sara and Jiraiya went off to seal the Three Tails, while Kushina and the other Genins tried to hold off the Akatsuki. Sara and Naruto went up against the Three Tails as they tried to damage it, as Kurama told Naruto to aim for his eye. After hurting him really bad in his eye, the Three Tails headbutted Sara into the water with great force as her arm was broken and blood was coming from her face. But Naruto saved her. As he checked her pulse, she was still alive. So yeah guys, that was basically the last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself, so let's begin this new episode, shall we? Naruto created a clone as he told the clone to take away Sara, as Keiyashi and Shizuka was there as well, as they were going to use one final strong attack and then they were going to seal the Three Tails. Keiyashi charged fire into his mouth, as Shizuka charged fire into her mouth as well, as Naruto charged a ball of fire in his hand, about the size of a giant Rasengan. Okay, 1, 2, 3, fire! Naruto yelled, as the standby then created a blast as he fired towards them, as the three of them thrust their attack forward as a battle for dominance started, as the three of them tried to push back the standby attack, but in the end, the water evaporated and the fire attacks were no more, as Naruto landed on the top of the water, as Keiyashi and Shizuka were tired as well. Back with Fu and Kakazu. Fu just finished talking with the Nadabi, as the Nadabi decided to lend her chakra so she won't be killed by this Akatsuki member. Go kick his ass, said the Nadabi, as Fu then snapped her eyes open as a red chakra surrounded her, as she looked over at Kakazu as two wings sprouted from her back along with a tail. Water Heaven Sword, said Fu, as a water sword was created in her hand. As red arms then shot from the red cloak around Fu as they shot towards Kakazu. As they wrapped around him. Now to end this, Fu said as she launched forward as she brought her sword down, as you could hear the sword slicing through flesh as Kakazu was no more. Back with Naruto, Naruto looked at the standby as it was weak. Jiraiya, should we start the ceiling now? Jiraiya looked back at the standby as it rose to the surface. Its right eye was a complete mess and its face was covered in burn marks, which were healing. Yes, the standby seemed weakened from using so much attack, and we need to attack it now before it recovers chakra. Both Naruto and Jiraiya then made some clones as Jiraiya took the scroll and threw it up in the air, far above the standby, as the clones and the originals went through hand sign as a yellow glow came from the scroll. Sealing Jutsu, demonic capture Jutsu, all of them yell. As the scroll then vanished and it was replaced with long rainbow chains of chakra. The chains then shot down as they were all different color as they wrapped around the standby arms and his tails and his neck. The chains then emit a strong force field around the standby, preventing it from going anywhere as it couldn't move. As both Naruto and Jiraiya panted as their clones vanished because that took a lot out of them. We did it, Sensei, said Naruto as he huffed. Meanwhile, with Sasuke and Itachi in the forest, Sasuke looked at Itachi with hate-filled eyes as Itachi was just looking down at his brother. As Itachi deactivated his Sharingan, as Sasuke did the same. Sasuke, I need to tell you something, said Itachi. What you need to tell me? All I want to do is kill you. Just wait until the others find me. You will be dead. Sasuke, shut up, said Itachi in a firm tone. Sasuke looked at his brother with narrow eyes. Itachi never raised his voice before. He always had such a calm tone. He showed emotion in his eyes, but now he raised his voice. Well, what do you have to say? Sasuke asked. I will tell you the truth. The truth about the clan massacre, said Itachi, as Sasuke's eyes went wide. The truth, he said. I didn't kill the clan on purpose, or to test the Mangekyo Sharingan. I did it to protect Konoha, he said. Sasuke remained silent as he let his brother explain himself. As Itachi told him everything. A few minutes later, Sasuke's eyes were wide as he looked at Itachi. I am not lying if that's what you're thinking, Itachi said, as he looked at Sasuke. Itachi then saw a blue flare in the sky. The Akatsuki were retreating, as Itachi then looked at his brother, as he then turned to leave. But Sasuke stopped him. Itachi, where are you going? Sasuke asked. I cannot blow my cover, Sasuke, said Itachi, as he then motioned his hands for Sasuke to come to him. As Sasuke walked over, as Itachi poked him in his forehead like he always did when he was younger. I will always love you, my brother, he said, as he knocked out Sasuke, as he then placed him back in the house that he had kicked him in, as he then vanished. As all of the Konoha members were cheering, we drove them off, said Kiba. Wait, where is Sasuke? Sakura asked. There he is, said Shino, as he walked over to the unconscious Sasuke as he picked him up. As Sasuke groaned. What hit me? He asked. Itachi must have knocked you out when he kicked you into the building, said Ino. We couldn't have helped you because the other Akatsuki members were on us. Sasuke nodded as he decided to keep what Itachi said to himself for now. They then saw Naruto rush over to them. As Kushina looked over. Is it done? She asked. Mission complete, Naruto said with a smile. As Kushina ruffled her son here, as the entire Konoha group was happy. Okay guys, let's go home, said Jiraiya. Meanwhile, in the Akatsuki base, the man with a glowing eye and the summoner of the beast, Torio, stood in front of the hologramic form of Pain. So, you want my organization to help you in a war against the elemental nations, but just one question, how will you get the manpower? I mean, even with the legendary creatures that you told me about, and the Akatsuki, that still isn't enough power to bring down all the great nations, Pain said. As Torio just chuckled. You don't have to worry about that, manpower is no trouble. Isn't that right, he said, as Pain heard footsteps. As Kabuto stepped out of the shadows, as he was wearing a Kage robe for the Sound Village. As Kabuto went into his robe, I believe this is yours, he said, as he tossed a hand over the holographic form of Pain. It was Orochimaru's hand with a ring on it. Pain looked at the hand on the ground as he went through some hand signs. As the ring vanished, all that was left was the hand of Orochimaru. I will think about this alliance. Let me just talk with one of my members, Pain said, as he vanished. At the Hidden Rain village, Pain was looking over the village as a swirling vortex appeared behind him as Toby came out. I heard everything and I think we should accept the alliance, Toby said. But it wasn't in his childish voice, it was in a deep, manly voice. What about the other tail beasts? Pain asked. Leave them to me. Now here is the plan. We will accept the alliance. However, tell them you need 3 years to gather your forces, recruit new members, and get resources. But the truth is that the 3 years period will be used to prepare the sealing jutsu to extract the bijus and absorb them into the statue. And don't worry about the standby, I have that covered. You will continue your role as the leader of the Akatsuki, and when the war begins, Toby said that evil laugh, the entire elemental nations will fear Uchiha Madara, he said, as he vanished in a swirling vortex. Back at the Akatsuki base, Pain holographic form then came back into the base. As his sweat dropped at the sight in front of him, Kabuto and Torio were playing Go Fish. Got any trees? Kabuto asked. No, go fish, said Torio. As Pain cleared his throat, as the two picked up the cart and stood up. Oh, you're back, said Kabuto as he readjusted his glasses. Yes, and I accept the alliance between Toro, the Akatsuki, and the Sound, Pain said. Excellent, said Torio as his single eye glowed. However, I require a 3-year time period to recruit new members. And we also need more money and more resources, Pain said. Well, whatever you need, we will meet again in 3 years, Torio said as he and Kabuto vanished from the hideout. As soon as they left, the supposed Madara came back with the 3 tails. That jutsu the Konoha ninjas used was advanced, but my Sharingan was able to see the weak point, he said. Put it in the underground restraint area that we had originally made for it, Pain said, as the supposed Madara nodded, as he sucked away the 3 tails in a swirling vortex. Back at Konoha, Tsunade and Shizune were standing outside of the gates waiting for the team to come back. Tsunade had fallen asleep as Shizune then saw a couple of people walk out of the forest. Tsunade, wake up, they're back, said Shizune. As Tsunade growled, as she wiped her eyes and the drool away from her mouth. What did you say? Who's dead? She asked, as Shizune's sweat dropped. No one, Tsunade, but the group that we sent to Kiri. They have finally returned. Then why didn't you just say so? Tsunade said, as she started to shake Shizune from her shoulders. Glad to see you missed us, said Naruto, as Tsunade smiled and hugged him. Good to see you're okay. So, I am guessing that you guys are successful? She said. Of course, said Kushina. Well guys, seeing that you're all probably tired, you all can go home and get a good night's sleep, said Tsunade. Naruto, Fu, please stay back, Tsunade said. As Shizuka and Keiichi went home with Kushina, as they were tired. As Jiraiya also headed there, as they went to her office. So Tsunade, what are you calling me in here for? You usually call in only Naruto and Jiraiya, Fu said. Well Fu, Jiraiya here has asked me to allow him to take you two on a training trip outside of Konoha. It is so that the both of you can become stronger, so that you can fight against the Akatsuki threat, and I have given him clearance to do so. So the thing is now, do you accept? How long? Said Naruto. 3 years, said Jiraiya. Can Shizuka and Keiichi come along? Naruto asked. Of course, said Tsunade. When do we leave? Fu asked. Tomorrow. Also, Naruto, when you leave, I will be announcing your heritage to the entire village, Tsunade said. Fu looked at Tsunade with wide eyes, as Naruto had told her about his relationship to the 4th Hokage. Tsunade, is that wise? Fu asks. I mean, many of the stone ninjas would send enemies after Naruto and assassins to kill him. I thought about that side effect, but Naruto has killed many high-class ninjas, and he has you, Jiraiya, Shizuka, and Keiyashi to protect him. He will be fine, said Tsunade. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, said Naruto. Come on, fool, let's go pack, as the both of them headed off. They're gonna be fine, right? Tsunade asked as she looked at Jiraiya. Have I ever let you down? Jiraiya asked, as he didn't thought about it for a second. On second thought, don't answer that. Well, Tsunade, I'll see you tomorrow, he said, as he headed out the window. The next day, the entire village has gathered around the Hokage's office as they were wondering what was the secret that Tsunade had to tell them. As Tsunade stepped out, silent, she said, as everyone went silent and looked up at their leader. Now the reason why I've called you here is to tell you all an important secret, she said. This secret was created when the 4th Hokage battled the Kyuubi and saved the village. As you may know, the 4th Hokage sealed the Kyuubi into a young boy that was born that night. But most of you don't know, that boy was his son. And I present to you Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, said Tsunade, as Naruto stepped forward. As the crowd went extremely silent. That was until Konohamaru started chanting Naruto's name, as his two friends then joined in as well, as it started to be catching on, as everyone was now chanting on Naruto. Naruto looked down in surprise. They were really cheering for him, but his eyes widened when he saw red hair with some grey hair in it. As Naruto rubbed his eyes and blinked, but the hair was gone. In a tree nearby, Ayo was watching his grandson with pride. Your father would be so proud of you, Naruto, and so would be our clan, he said, as he went through hand sign as he vanished back to his world. Naruto smiled as he threw a bunch of 3-pronged kunai up into the sky as he yelled the jutsu name that brought smile to everyone's face. Hiroshin, he yelled, as he flashed around through the sky and then flashed back to the balcony in seconds as the crowd was silent. But they then cheered up again. Konoha Yellow Flash is back, they yelled as everyone cheered. Later that day, Team 7, Team 8, Team 9, Sara's team and Team 10, Team Guy, Kushina, Tsunade, and Shizune all came to the gate to wish Naruto farewell, as Naruto, Shizuka, Keiyashi, and Fu were going on a 3-year trip with Jiraiya. Naruto, please stay safe, and Jiraiya, if my son become a super pervert like you, I'll kill you, Kushina said with a growl, as Jiraiya chuckled nervously. Wouldn't even think of it, he said. Damn it, there go my plan to make Naruto take over the Ichi Ichi series when I retire. As Naruto then prepared to give his goodbyes to the people. Okay guys, well train hard and eat right, and don't be a bunch of weaklings when I get back, okay? He said. The teams chuckled and nodded, as Naruto then turned to Team 9. Shinji, Erashi, you guys are gonna be tunings by the time I come back. Sara, Naruto was interrupted as she gave him a kiss on the lips. As the rest of the girls that were watching said, "Aww." I will miss you, Naruto, she whispered, as Naruto looked at her with a soft gaze. Same here, he said, as he gave her a hug, as she hugged him tightly. As they break the hug and Naruto turned to Team 10. Shikamaru, don't be lazy. Choji, focus more on your training. I know you're as strong as your big bones. And Ino, keep them alive, would you? As Ino chuckled. Sure thing, she said. As he then turned to Team 8, Hinata, although I can't be with you, we can be friends, okay? He said. As Hinata then smiled. Okay, Naruto, she said. Well, Shino, keep up the good work. Oh, Fu, don't you have something to tell Shino? He said. As Fu nodded as she went over to Shino, as she whispered something into his ear. Shino, mind going on a date with me when I come back? I'll bring back a rare butterfly for you, okay? As Shino's eyes widened, beneath his shades, no one has ever asked him out before. Sure thing, and you didn't have to bribe me with the butterfly part. But I would still like it, Shino whispered back. Fu smiled as she giggled, as she gave him a small kiss on the cheek, making Shino blush like crazy. Pretty smooth with the ladies, said Kiba. Kiba, Lee, Sasuke, I will spar with you all when I get back, said Naruto, as the three of them nodded, as he then turned to Team Guy. Tenten, although we don't know each other that well, keep training hard, and you will always be my friend, he said. Neji, don't rely on fate so much. As Naruto walked up to Neji and whispered in his ear, make your move or Lee will beat you to it, he said. As Neji glanced at Tenten, but his face remained the same. And last but not least, as Naruto turned towards Sakura, Sakura, you have shown me in your attempt to rescue Yujito how you have changed and how strong you have become, and for that you have my respect. But, however, as he started to back away, wait, Kakashi Sensei, thank you for all your lessons. The first important thing you teach me was that who break the rules are trash, but those who leave their friends behind are even worse than trash. So thank you for that. You remember that? Said Kakashi. Of course, that is one of my life lessons, said Naruto. Naruto, what were you talking about me? Said Sakura. Well, I just want to say, you're still annoying and I hate you. Heihachi spread his wings as Naruto jumped on his back as Heihachi flew off as Shizuka ran off with Jiraiya as Sakura exploded in rage. Naruto, she screamed as her voice could be heard through the forest. As the group left, as everyone waved goodbye. Time skip. 3 years later. The village of Konoha was busy. People was going about their day, doing normal things. It was a normal day. Well, not for the ninjas, because today was a special day. Because today, Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto and Fu will be coming back to the village. As Sarah was walking around the village, she has changed a lot. Her long, glowing, blonde hair reached far down into her lower back now, as she let it grow out. She now had one hell of a figure, as she now wear a tank top with the kanji for fire on the front of it, and a pair of tight black pants that hugged her lower figure well. As her weapon pouch was on her right thigh, and she had on ninja sandals. Due to the many missions that Sarah has taken since Naruto was away, she has earned the name as the Phoenix of Konoha. Every time she seemed to be defeated, she always got back up, like a dying phoenix rising from the ashes. And due to her being from Konoha and her use of fire jutsus, and her bloodline was basically to manipulate fire. It's been 3 years, she thought. I wonder how much Naruto has changed. As Sarah then heard screaming as she turned her head to see people being knocked over. As something fly past her, it was none other than a demon cat, Toru. As Konohamaru, Mogi and Udon fly past Sarah as they were chasing after Toru. Sarah quickly went through one-handed hand sign as she flicked the fire as it landed in front of Toru. As he stepped on it, he quickly jumped back as he felt the heat coming towards his paw, as she then dashed off with incredible speed as she grabbed him. As Konohamaru and the others looked at her. Impossible! How did you catch him so fast? Konohamaru asked as he was out of breath, as Sarah just chuckled as she handed to Konohamaru as they all went to the mission report room. As they got in, the fire daimyo's wife rushed over as she grabbed the cat and started to squeeze it. Oh, now I understand why he always ran away, said Konohamaru to himself, as the woman then paid the fee as she left with their cat. Hey, by the way, Snazzy, said Konohamaru, all these missions you're giving us, it's quite boring. We want something more dangerous. Konohamaru, said Udon, as Moki just glared at him. It's true, said Konohamaru, all of these missions are boring. You should be respectful, said Mogi. Mogi is right, Konohamaru. You must always be respectful to your elders because it helps build maturity and not get you into trouble, Iruka said, as Konohamaru sat down on the ground as he snorted. Iruka sighed as he acted just like Naruto back in the academy days. You can't treat the future 7 Hokage like this, said Konohamaru as he folded his hands. As Tsunade and Iruka looked at him confused. What about the 6th, said Tsunade. Oh, that spot is already taken. It belongs to Naruto, said Konohamaru. As Tsunade just chuckled, as she knew very well that Naruto is going to become Hokage one day. Well, seeing that Naruto is going to come back today, why don't you guys go ahead and greet him at the gates? As the group went off, as Sora stayed behind, what information have you gathered on your mission? Tsunade asked Sora. The Akatsuki are nowhere to be found, and their plant has decreased ever since Naruto stopped them from getting the Bijus 3 years ago. But there has been some gossip about the Sound Village suddenly increasing their shinobis, said Sora. Good job, said Tsunade. Now then, you can go and relax. I will call you when a mission is available. As Sora turned and left. Back on the streets, Sora and the Konohamaru group were walking down to the gates of Konoha. I can't wait to see Big Brother Naruto again, said Konohamaru. Same here, said both Udon and Mogi. As Sora smiled at the three of them really looked up to Naruto. I wonder if he will show me his newest jutsu, Konohamaru said, as Sora smiled as the group made their way to the gate, but they stopped and sighed as no one was there, as they thought that he wasn't coming back today. They then heard a roar that echoed through the village. Almost the entire village heard it, as everyone rushed towards the gate to see what was happening. Everyone, duck now, said Sora, as they all went down, as an animal flew over their head, a red animal at surprising speeds. As he then flew upwards towards the sky, as everyone looked over as his shadow was cast over the streets of Konoha. Then the creature roared as he came down to the ground, as Sora's eyes widened, as she had to then turn because the creature picked up dust. As everyone started to cough, when they finally calmed themselves, they looked at the animal, the shape that was in the cloud. As everyone gasped, it was a large dragon. He was red scale. He was the same size as a large house. It had glowing red eyes, sharp teeth and claws. He had a long tail with spikes on the end and his giant wings. As they saw three figures on top of the dragon's head, which was Naruto, Jiraiya and Fu. Okay, Keiyashi, just like we rehearsed, said Naruto, as Naruto jumped up into the sky as Keiyashi then released blue fire. As Naruto channeled chakra through his body as he flew into the flames. As everyone gasped, but he then came down as he slammed into the ground as a flame boomed off of him. Konoha! Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto is back, he said. Jiraiya-sensei, why does Naruto have to show off? Fu asked. I don't know, Fu. I don't know, said Jiraiya. The crowd then started to clap and cheer as Konohamaru and his group immediately rushed over to Naruto. As Naruto hugged all of them as they jumped on him. As Naruto then saw Sora. As she walked up to him. Sora, he said, as he pushed past Konohamaru and his group. As he wrapped his arms around her in a hug. I miss you, Naruto, she said. As the both of them share a passionate kiss. They finally break the kiss. Me too, Naruto said, as they then shared a hug. As he then turned and looked at Fu. Fu, should we go see Tsunade right now? Naruto said, as Fu looked at her fingernails like she didn't even care. Yeah, whatever, she said. As Naruto then held on to Sora as they walked towards the tower. As Fu and Jiraiya jumped down as they walked behind them as Keiyashi came along behind them as well. As Naruto's ears then twitched as he heard his name being screamed out, as it was his mother. As Naruto was knocked down to the ground, mostly tackled into a bone-crushing hug. As Kushina was squeezing him. Mom, can't breathe, he said. Sorry about that, she said. Look how much you have changed. You look so handsome, she said. Even more like your father, Minato, she said with a big smile. Come on, Mom, he said with a smirk. As they all went to Tsunade's office, as Keiyashi had to stay outside since he gotten so big. Oh, hello, Tsunade. Naruto couldn't get to finish his sentence as he was grabbed by Tsunade, who hugged him in another bone-crushing hug. Can't breathe, he said, as Tsunade gasped as she let him go, as she can't believe how much he looks like Minato. He has grown, as Naruto was now 6 feet and 3 inches tall. Welcome back, Naruto, Fu, Jiraiya, Tsunade said with a smirk as she heard a growl outside her window. You too, Keiyashi, she said, as Keiyashi smiled. As Tsunade went and sat down, Now, I trust that you all have grown stronger from your trip. Tsunade, you really think that I would bring them back without any results? Jiraiya asks. I hope not, she said. Now then, in order to test your skills. But she then heard a knock on the door. As she said enter as Shikamaru and Temari came in. Shikamaru, Naruto greeted. Naruto? Is that you? Said Shikamaru, as the both of them bumped fists in greetings. Good to see you again, Shikamaru. And who is the young lady behind you? Naruto said. Is she your girlfriend? No, we're not dating, said Shikamaru. Like I would ever date this little boy, said Temari. As Naruto was looking at Temari, what is it? She asked. Nothing, I'm just wondering. Why are you here? He said. Well, I am the ambassador for our two villages, Konoha and the Sand, she explained, as Naruto nodded as he then turned to Tsunade. So, how are you going to test my skills? By fighting. It was then that two people jumped into the room, Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno, as Tsunade smirked. But guys, I'm going to end this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform, and stay in tune for the rest of the what is coming your way today, guys. And I hope you enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado, I'm out. Peace.